Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about gut health. This is such a well requested or most requested topic, and I want to share with you 5 things that you can do day to day or change what you're doing day to day that is completely free, that will make a massive impact on your gut health and how your gut is functioning. Before I go in really quickly, our gut is one of the most important systems as far as elimination goes. If we are not having full proper elimination of the gut continuously day to day and optimal digestion, a couple things will happen. Number one, we will become nutritionally deficient. If we are not digesting our food the way it should be digested, we're not extracting the nutrition from it. Number two, we leave our bodies more prone and susceptible to gut infections like yeast overgrowth or parasitic overgrowth or bacterial overgrowth. So we can develop things like SIBO and other, inflammatory conditions. Our gut lining cannot repair itself adequately, so we kind of have continuous leaky gut, which you guys know by now how bad that is and kind of what health challenges come with that. But the most important thing to me that happens when our gut is not functioning optimally is actually our detoxification. Our liver, which detoxes the majority of our toxins day to day, be it chemicals we're exposed to or excess hormones or cholesterol or whatever else it may be, our liver takes those toxins and it uses our stool to eliminate it. It dumps it into the colon to absorb into our bowels and eliminate that day to day. And that's how we get rid of the toxins from our body. If our gut's not functioning healthily enough, we are not going to be having the best bowel movements possible for complete elimination. And so we end up retaining toxins, which then also can add to our toxin burden, can lead to chronic illness, lots of gut inflammation, and so much more. So this system is so important to make sure it is being taken care of day to day. And the thing about our gut is that it's not something, and I've mentioned this before, but it's not something you can fix once and then leave it. It is something that needs daily and continuous maintenance so you have continuous optimal digestion, okay? So just like you can't do an oil change in your car once and never do it again, or fill up gas in your car once and never do it again, it's the same with our body. We have to top up the gas in the car frequently. We have to do frequent oil changes. We have to replace the windshield washer fluid frequently. None of these are a one and done thing. Our gut's the same, and if we're not doing that and supporting our gut continuously day in and day out, you will end up with different health conditions that stem from an imbalanced gut. Okay, so these things that I'm sharing with you, again, are 5 things that you can do for free. You've heard me talk about them before, but I'm compiling them into this video, and they are something that I believe most of us are doing day to day, myself included, and it's probably some things that we can easily change to see dramatic improvements in our gut. Okay, number 1, you guys know I'm going to start with this one, and that is stress. Stress is a massive contributor of gut inflammation thanks to our vagus nerve, which is one of the most important nerves in the body that connects our gut and our brain. Anytime we experience stress or anxiety, it triggers this reaction in our gut, which elevates inflammation. The problem with having elevated inflammation in the gut is a number of things, really. Number 1, it slows down the motility of the bowels. So the motility is like that downward peristaltic motion of our gut, and it kind of slows down that process so that we're not, sorry, my hair is crazy, but it slows down that process so we're not having this proper flowing of bacteria and food and stool through the intestinal system at an optimal rate. So that's the number 1 problem, is that now we're not having as healthy of bowel movements as we should be. We have that opportunity for bacteria to kind of come upwards rather than down and maybe potentially get something like SIBO. Stress is a huge trigger for SIBO, by the way. But another thing that occurs is when we have gut inflammation, we have damaged gut lining. So the mucosal lining, the epithelial lining of the gut gets broken down, which means that we now have this leaky gut, which allows us to develop all sorts of food sensitivities, food reactions, chronic illness, and the list goes on. Stress is a massive impactor on the gut, and it's something that most people day to day, when you're having, most likely, and this is my situation as well, but when you're having a really stressful day, whether you're stuck in traffic and you're so frustrated, or your kids are driving you crazy, or you're having a bad day at work, or whatever it may be, financial issues, marital or relationship issues, that stress, when you're going through it in the moment, most of the time we don't stop and think, oh my goodness, this is destroying my gut. Most of us don't do that. We just kind of are thinking about our stress and we just kind of get through the day. What I encourage you to do is anytime you are stressed, immediately think about your gut. This will remind you to deep breathe. One thing you can do for free that will really support your vagus nerve and your gut while you're stressed is to deep breathe. You're not going to stop the stress you're experiencing. You're still going to have that feeling of stress, but you're going to tell your body, don't go into the sympathetic mode, don't panic, don't freak out, don't create inflammation. Everything is okay, by just simply deep breathing through your stress. And that is taking really deep breaths in, holding it for a little while, and then exhaling very slowly. Do this continuously throughout the day while you're driving, cooking, laying down, whatever. This will really help to lower your stress chemistry, which is what's affecting the gut. Okay, tip number 2 or item number 2 is snacking. So we often hear, and there's a lot of information that kind of circles around, and then we all kind of latch onto it and think it's the best way to go. But we often hear that having smaller meals and snacking throughout the day is the best way to keep our blood sugar stable. Now that may be the case for somebody who is, hypoglycemic and really needs to keep their blood sugar levels up because their body can't do it on its own. But for the average person, it is best to not snack. The reason is because snacking actually inhibits our migrating motor complex. Again, that's that downward, natural, instinctive part of our gut that just moves everything down. And every time we snack, our migrating motor complex stops from that previous meal and restarts with the meal we just ate. So now that food that you ate maybe a couple hours ago is just sitting in the intestinal system somewhere, not being digested and pushed through. So every time you snack, your migrating motor complex stops and restarts at the beginning again. And I have a whole article on this. I have ways to get around it. And I also have a list of different foods that make the migrating motor complex stop more than other foods. So all of that info is on my membership platform, holisticspring.org, which is linked down below. You can click the blog tab once you log in and find that information, and it's really cool. But essentially, when you have this migrating motor complex and when you eat a meal, it starts and it helps get your food through the digestive system properly. As soon as you snack or eat again, it stops and restarts. So that food that you just ate is kind of sitting there. This again creates gut inflammation. You have malabsorption of nutrients, so nutrient deficiencies can form, food sensitivities can form. It gives the pathogens an opportunity to sit there and feed off of the food, which can create gas and bloating or SIBO symptoms or IBS symptoms, and the list goes on. So it's very irritating for the gut to have this occur. So stop snacking and eat 3 meals a day, if possible. Now, those 3 meals, you want them to keep your blood sugar stable, so you do need to have sufficient protein and healthy fats and soluble fiber with each of those meals so that you're having this optimal and slow digestion and breakdown, and that will keep your blood sugar more stable rather than having this quick digestion and spiking and dropping of blood sugar. So I hope that helps. Tip number 3 or item number 3 is cold liquids. Now, this is not to say you can never have cold liquids. I do. I'm anemic and I'm always craving ice and cold things. So it's normal to want cool drinks, especially in the summer, and it's fine. Enjoy them. But if every time you reach for a cup of water, you're adding ice to it, or if every time you're having a beverage, you're taking it out of the fridge to have it cold, that is not ideal. The reason is because our gut needs to be warm, just like our liver and our kidneys. It needs to have a certain temperature to consistently and fluidly move and flow and get everything functioning well. When we have something cold, it kind of shocks and stresses out our stomach and our intestinal system, and it's a little more tense. Imagine if you're kind of going out into the cold and it's a really, really cold and blistering day. You kind of tense up and you're shivering and you're really tight and everything's kind of, tense. Our gut's the same way. So it will tense up a little bit more, and it's not going to be as soothing to have cold liquids frequently. So if that's all you drink, or if that's what you're drinking the majority of the time, you might want to just throw in some hot herbal teas, hot soups and broths, and try to really limit the ice and stuff in your drinks or the cold drinks. Try to do room temperature or slightly cool so it's not ice cold, and that can really help very quickly improve your gut function. Number 4 is sleeping wrong. So this one I've touched on a lot as well. Our gut lining cells repairs at night. So when we are sleeping, if we're sleeping properly and through our circadian rhythm timeline, our gut will be repairing optimally and will strengthen, and pathogens are also killed at night. So our immune system comes in at night and starts killing off pathogens. Not much is happening during the day because we're so active, because our immune system's dealing with other things, because our gut is digesting food during the day. It can't repair, it can't kill pathogens much. So all of this is occurring while we sleep at night. If you're missing your circadian rhythm and say you're going to bed at like midnight or 1 in the morning or 2 or 3 in the morning, and then waking up way later in the day, you're missing that opportunity for your body to repair the gut lining and for your body to kill pathogens, because you're missing those hormonal fluctuations when you should be sleeping, which is what encourages and triggers the healing of the gut and things like that. Another thing is, while you're sleeping, a lot of people will late night snack and then go to bed. And if you're putting food in your stomach so close to bedtime, your gut lining again can't really repair, and your immune system has a hard time killing pathogens just because there's food in the gut that's taking up that space. So it is really important to sleep within the circadian rhythm window. Obviously, there's shift workers out there. There's people who just can't, but just do the best you can if possible, and try going to bed between 10 and 11 p.m. and then waking up between 6 and 7 a.m. This will give you the best chance of sealing up that gut lining properly at night and killing pathogens and having that optimal digestion. Try limiting snacking as well, and if you are to have something, have it earlier in the night so that by the time you are ready to go to bed, that food's probably been digested. The last thing that I want to talk about is being sedentary. This one most people don't think about in relation to the gut. Most of us think about being sedentary as a relation to our weight and other aspects, maybe our anxiety or our mood, but rarely somebody thinks about a lack of exercise and how that impacts the gut. But it is a massive impactor. And here is why. When we're sitting, most of the time we're slouching too, so we're kind of putting our body inwards a little bit. We are squishing and really inhibiting our gut from elongating and being able to move as efficiently. So say you just had a meal and then you kind of go and slouch on the couch and you're kind of squishing down, your food is going to have a harder time moving through the intestinal system because everything's more squeezed. When we're sitting as well, we're not having a good lymphatic circulatory system function. And so our lymphatic system actually helps everything flow through the body as well. But when we're sitting, we're more stagnant. Everything's kind of just sitting still. And so it is more common for people who are sitting a lot of the time to have constipation and to have slower or sluggish digestion, to feel like they get gas and bloating or feel really heavy after a meal, or have that feeling like they're just not digesting or absorbing what they're eating. So my suggestion to you would be, find time to do movement during the day. It does not have to be going to a gym or lifting weights. It literally could be walking around your house if that's all you're able to do. But just by standing up, having good posture, and moving allows the bowels to just get the food through easily, allows the lymphatic system to circulate. We have so many lymph nodes in our abdominal area, so we want those flowing to help our gut and everything else move properly. So moving the body to get that blood flow, that lymphatic flow occurring, and get the bowels to kind of elongate a little bit can really help. I always tell people, if you just had a huge meal and you're feeling awful and you're like, I just need to digest this, go for a light walk. A walk will, again, allow the food to move through the bowels quicker as it opens them up. So try not to be sedentary all day. And if you are, try to stop, break it up or stop it by walking around your house or your office, or, moving your body in some way just to get things flowing. And that will also make a big impact on your gut. So those are 5 things that you can change for free to fix your gut and to encourage optimal gut health and gut healing, and really minimize a lot of the gut conditions and symptoms that a lot of people have today. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know any other tips you can think of down below. And if you are looking for the, in my opinion, perfect guide to healing leaky gut or resealing the gut lining and killing off pathogens, I have 2 incredible resources, and they are like a protocol that goes one after the other. On my website, I will link them down below. You can start off with the seasonal candida and parasite cleanse and then move into the leaky gut protocol when you're done with that cleanse for a really beautiful and healthy gut and to clear up a lot of the symptoms that come with leaky gut and dysbiosis. So I'll link those down below for you. They are incredible resources, and I know that you'll find them really beneficial, and there's a lot of extra information in there to help you along. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.